master at the Portland Yacht Club says someone meant to sink this boat. Fines like this have become more common for cops. Investigators blame a new kind of crime, float-by burglaries of local moorages.
And they'll start using these boats to float in, steal what they want, and then leave.
And when they're done stealing, the crooks sink their boats, causing environmental and safety concerns.
Another boater coming over the top of it could either ruin their boat, run into it, knock their passengers into the water. Those are all huge concerns for us here on the law enforcement on the water.
The other big concern out here is nothing new for late August. Despite any recent rains, our river levels are at their lowest of the year. It's not only deceiving, it's also dangerous.
They're thinking they're in plenty deep of water. It's the Columbia River.
Multnomah County Marine Patrol deputies had no problem finding hazards that were still submerged just a couple of weeks ago.
When the water's at normal water levels, this area is completely covered.
The county
Sorry to bother you. We were looking for Jack Eat here.
But hours after the fire, not even his family can find him. You can't get a hold of your brother.
No, I can't get a hold of him.
And for neighbors wanting to know why the city did not declare the home a nuisance, Mayor Tom Hughes.
How many calls would it take to close the place down?
Well, it's both the number of calls and the kind of calls. So the way the ordinance is written, you are creating a chronic nuisance if you've had a number of calls for criminal behavior.
But the mayor says not every one of those calls was criminal, so the city would not even be legally allowed to condemn this place. That said, the mayor says he is going to take a look at this nuisance ordinance. It's 2 years old, and they're going to refine it or fine-tune it. As for this arson investigation out here, no one is in custody. Live in Hillsborough, Nick Winkler, KATU News.
Okay, Nick, thank you. Also, a Vancouver woman escapes a fire thanks to a good Samaritan. Firefighters say a passerby saw flames coming from this home on Burtonwood Court this morning. The Good Samaritan, whose name has not been released, woke up the woman inside and called 911. 2 people were displaced by the fire. They're being helped by the Red Cross tonight.
A group of gay rights supporters are fighting back against a petition drive to reverse Oregon's anti-discrimination and domestic partnership laws. As K2's Tan explains, they're planning to expose the people who signed the petition by making their personal information available, not just in the Secretary of State's office, but on the internet.
In other states like Massachusetts and Florida, KnowThyNeighbor.org lists the names and addresses of people who've signed anti-gay rights legislation. Brandon Berg is part of a group working to develop a similar site in Oregon.
So you are, in your own way, outing others, aren't you?
We're making them be responsible for the actions that they've taken by.
He is against petition organizer Marilyn Shannon's effort to reverse the legislature's passage of 2 gay rights bills.
People want us to feel sorry for them, you know, but who's the intimidator this time?
The thing is, Shannon finds some unlikely company against this online tactic, including voters who do support gay rights.
I think it is intimidation, and I think it's wrong.
It would affect if I would sign that petition or not.
Even if you supported the measure?
Absolutely. My privacy is more important to me.
I'm not sure it's going to make much of a difference.
Political science expert Robert Eisinger says a site like this won't hurt or help the final outcome.
Here's where it does make a difference. We're talking about it. So now the strategy is a discussion about the topic.
Berg says he's not worried about his tactic backfiring.
And if somebody was trying to take away rights from their families, I think they'd be in the exact same position that I am.
Shannon says gay residents are forcing their will on others.
You read our Constitution. We're not liberal. We don't even have common law marriages.
A lot of these people say they're Oregonians too, and what's going on here with this petition is absolutely unfair to them as people.
Well, this isn't about discrimination. This is about affirmative action.
And those who agree may soon find their personal information much more accessible on the internet. In Portland, Tan, KATU News.
The chief referendum petitioner says they have not collected the 55,000 signatures they need by next month to get these 2 gay rights laws on the ballot in November of 2008.
Also tonight, a Portland firefighter turns himself in to face charges that he took off from police who were trying to pull over a pair of speeding motorcycles. Last night, Portland police say they tried to pull over 2 speeding motorcycles in the area of 9th and East Burnside. One of the alleged riders, Harold Aragon, took off on foot. This morning, he turned himself into police and was charged with attempting to elude an officer, speed racing, and failure to produce a driver's license. Aragon is a Portland Fire Bureau arson investigator.
Longview police are asking for help finding a man who may have information about the death of a woman found in a trailer park. The body was found at the Columbia Trailer Park on Sunday. Police believe Gregory Stark may have known the victim. He's 6'2" and weighs about 230 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. He owns a 1979 black Ford Econoline van with Nevada plates. If you see him, call the Longview police.
We have an annual warning for drivers. Be on the lookout for thousands of runners taking part in the Hood to Coast Relay. The 26th annual race begins tomorrow morning at 8 up at Timberline Lodge. Groups of runners will take off from the mountain in waves every 15 minutes until 7:45 at night. The teams run through Friday night, reaching the coast throughout the day on Saturday. And because that race takes most teams about 24 hours to complete, we want to give you a look at the race course and where to be alert for runners and their support vehicles. It begins at Timberline Lodge, follows Highway 26 through Sandy, then Boring, Damascus, and Portland. From there, it's up Highway 30 and then toward the coast. The race ends on the beach in Seaside.
Question on a lot of runners' minds tonight: what will the weather be like for the race this weekend? Meteorologist Rod Hill is in the Storm Alert Weather Center with more on what the 17,000 runners and walkers can expect. And Rod, you're not taking part, right?
No, it would take me about at least 3 months, I think, to make that journey. Hey, you know, the one thing you don't want is for it to be too hot. Tomorrow will be a little warm, but overall the weather looks great. Here we are tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Of course, runners take off from Timberline Lodge. It'll be about 55 degrees, pretty much the same temperature as it will be in areas of the Willamette Valley Government Camp. About the same time tomorrow morning will be at 52, so, you know, pretty good weather. And then, of course, the runners make their way down 26, down through Sandy. It'll be a nice, clear morning. And then about lunchtime tomorrow, getting into Portland, then runners will be arriving in the Rose City throughout the afternoon. 72 degrees at 12 noon, which is pretty nice weather. And then Saturday, they end up eventually in Seaside. Let me just tell you that the weather in Seaside on Saturday, anywhere from partly to mostly cloudy. Temperatures will be in the 60s most of the day Saturday, with runners going through the Coast Range. Temperatures will be probably pretty close to 70 degrees. The chance of rain this weekend is looking very, very slight. The best chance for the runners to get wet at all, maybe a trace of some rain Saturday overnight for the folks running at that time. But overall, the forecast is pretty good for that event.
It won't stop them, though. It doesn't matter what the weather's like.
That's
you know
true.
that, Ron. Talk to you soon, sir.
Actor Ed Asner is in Portland today to take on a new role. He is the newest member of the Oregon Film and Video Board. Governor Ted Kolongoski made the official announcement and the introduction this afternoon. Asner hopes to help bring more movie makers to Oregon. Lawmakers also recently increased a tax credit to lure more productions to the state.
Riding the bus takes on a new level of frustration in Clackamas County. A new study concludes that TriMet is slower in Clackamas than the counties right next door. KATU Susan Harding joins us live to explain why and what's being done to speed it up. Susan.
Well, commuters who want to hop on a bus here in Portland to go to Clackamas County can expect a 78-minute trip on average. Now, there are also the individual stories, like the rider who gets on the bus here near the Lloyd Center to go to Clackamas. It's a 12-mile trip. It takes him 2 hours every day. It's not their imagination.
It's slow.
A new study confirms what these bus riders already know.
Not enough buses come through.
The average commute to and from Clackamas County takes longer than most workers would accept, 78 minutes one way. That's short to Mike Borsaw, who gets up 2 hours early for his Lloyd Center to Clackamas commute.
Almost 2 hours, about hour 45, hour 50, and I've tried it 3 different ways, and every which way it takes an extremely long time, and it's only 12 miles.
And these two try to stay in Oregon City to avoid the long, slow connections.
She just quit working downtown because it took her about an hour and 45 minutes.
It wasn't enough money, you know, for the job, and it took me so long to get down there and back home.
From Oregon City to Clackamas, 55 minutes.
That's ridiculous.
It takes 2 hours to get from Lake Oswego to Oregon City. I think that's outrageous.
The study finds Clackamas County has plenty of bus stations. It's the bus scheduling that needs work. We took the riders' concerns to TriMet, who assures help is on its way when a new light rail line opens.
But in the meantime, is anything going to happen to make these commutes any faster for folks?
You know, that's the challenge, you know, is where do people live and where do people work? And Clackamas County is one of the unique communities in our region where they're considered more of a bedroom community. There are more residents than jobs.
Commuters used to waiting will need to wait until September of '09 before the new light rail line opens, and possibly new bus lines as well.
Clackamas County Commissioners say they realize there's a problem and they may start a campaign to try to bring more bus service to Clackamas County. Reporting live from the Lloyd Center, Susan Harding, KATU News.
Okay, Susan, thank you. Also tonight, a little bit of heartbreak today for the Lake Oswego Lakers Little League team.
The team is headed home after losing to a powerhouse team from Texas. KATU's Craig Birnbach's here. Team had an early lead, but they lost it quickly.
Yeah, they did. But you know what? They're not headed home quite yet, though. They're still having some fun out there, yep. It has been a magical run for Lake Oswego and Williamsport, but today the upset kids, oh, they just couldn't topple an unbeaten Southwest team. Yep, Lake's semifinal matchup against a Lubbock, Texas team that was 19-0, but Lake Oswego, they take the early lead. An RBI single from Calvin Hermanson. Yeah, there was plenty to cheer about for those in green and yellow as 2 runs would score. It was 2-0. But Lubbock's Brendan Arredondo, well, he's going to put Texas up for good with this 3-run bomb. He really got all of it. Just like that, the lead was gone, and Texas ends Lake's dream summer run with an 8-2 defeat. Still, what a run it was for these kids. Now, Little League fans at home in Lake Oswego say they're proud of that team. KATU caught up with the Cohen family. They were watching the game from the Ram in Lakeo. Andrew says the loss was pretty rough. His mom says the boys just didn't bring their bats today. But you know what? Both are looking forward to welcoming the team home and then looking toward the future already.
It was probably a really great experience for them, and so it's just, it was amazing that they actually got that far.
We're going to totally welcome them home, and they were a great representation of Lake Oswego, and we're all really proud of them, and on to football.
Hey, I talked to Coach Craig Ramey after the game. He says his kids, well, they're still smiling, and they're not coming home till Monday because they're staying in Williamsport. They're going to watch the championship games this weekend, and plenty of smiles. Even in the loss, you could see them on TV. They were still smiling.
Yeah, they were happy to be there, and we are happy for them, and we're proud of them nonetheless.
And that pitcher that for Texas they brought in, Mariners should sign him up right now.
He's a money lefty.
Throwing some heat, 12.
You never know.
Incredible.
Thanks, Craig.
Greg, thank you. The city of Kaiser makes a decision coming up at 5:30 what the city has decided to do about concrete posts that some have compared to a male body part.
Oh, and Northwest linked to that deadly helicopter crash in Iraq. How neighbors are remembering one of the soldiers who died.
And next, gas mileage estimates that aren't even close. 2 on Your Side investigates what's being done to improve the difference between the gas mileage advertised by car makers and what you actually get on the road.
Ever notice that stores rarely put their most popular products on sale? Well, for a limited time, Sleep Country's best-selling mattresses are all on sale. Save on Sleep Country's top-selling Simmons, Sealy, Spring Air, and Pacific mattresses. Even our best-selling Beauty Rest and Posturepedic mattresses are on sale. Plus, get 12 months interest-free financing. The best sellers on sale for a limited time. Guaranteed comfort, best selection, lowest price.
Why buy a mattress anywhere else?
It's the Chevy Model Year-End event, where you'll find the best offer ever on the all-new Silverado. 0% APR for 60 months on Silverado half-ton extended and crew cabs for well-qualified buyers. Just click and go to Chevy.com to find the Silverado you want. Then get to your Chevy dealer before it's gone. Get 0% financing for 60 months on an all-new 07 Silverado half-ton extended cab or crew cab for well-qualified buyers. Click on Chevy.com. Then see your participating Northwest Chevy dealer.
Rosie likes red, Violet likes blue. Empire has the perfect carpet for you. Berbers, plushes, wools, and frisés, you can shop right at home and we'll install next day. You'll get a free gift, save money and time, and no payments due till 2009. So for beautiful new carpet installed next day, just pick up the phone. Call Empire today.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
It's no wonder that more and more people are discovering the benefits of buying from Unique RV Center. We've been building customer relationships based on trust, integrity, and value as a family-owned and operated RV dealership for nearly 30 years. No matter what RV you're looking for, we'll have it. Park models, fifth wheels, travel trailers, campers, and toy haulers. And the largest parts and accessory selection in Southwest Washington. Unique RV Center. No matter how you spell it, we're always there for you. Right on the freeway, right on the price. I-5 exit 36 in Kelso.
Not much room to move eastbound on I-84 this afternoon. There's the slowdown approaching 68th, and the slowing is solid from I-5 out through Gateway. 217 at Greenberg Road, northbound, lined up from I-5 to Denny. Southbound slowing starts in Beaverton, and again from 72nd to the ramps of I-5. And I-5 southbound at Haynes Road. Lanes are full, and they stay that way through Wilsonville to the Boone Bridge. For KATU News, I'm Jeff Mitchell.
Jeff, thank you very much. We have some breaking news. Jet Ranger 2 is on the way to this breaking news on Sauvie Island. We have reports that a person may have drowned this evening. The Multnomah County dive team has been activated and is on the way as we speak. And of course, we'll bring you more information as it becomes available.
These days, gas prices always seem to be on the way up. That's why gas mileage has become such an important issue and a debatable one. As consumer reporter Shelley Bailey-Shaw shows us, when you put the wheels to the road, not all cars get the miles to the gallon they claim.
Consumer Reports tests have shown hundreds of vehicles deliver worse mileage than the government's estimates. Now the EPA is changing the way it calculates mileage.
In car showrooms, the miles per gallon are listed on the window sticker. The figures are based on the government's EPA tests. However, Consumer Reports fuel efficiency tests have found 90% of the vehicles it's tested have worse mileage than the Environmental Protection Agency's estimates, an average of 9% fewer miles per gallon. EPA testing performed on a treadmill-like device is based on protocols developed in the 1970s, but driving habits have changed dramatically since then, says Consumer Reports.
Consumer Reports has long been urging the federal government to revise the way it looks at fuel economy, and the EPA has finally changed the way that they do it.
Stickers on 2008 models carry the new EPA mileage figures, and online at the EPA's website, fueleconomy.gov. You can find updated numbers for models going back to 1985. For most vehicles, the mileage has fallen. For example, this Honda Civic dropped to 24 miles per gallon from 27.
The new numbers are more realistic, but they still can be a little optimistic, often by a mile or two per gallon.
And Consumer Reports tests find for some cars that gap is even bigger. With the Toyota Prius, the new EPA city mileage is 48 miles per gallon. Consumer Reports tests show 35 miles per gallon. But even though the government's new mileage figures aren't perfect, Consumer Reports finds they're a lot closer to what you'll actually get on the road.
Consumer Reports calculates gas mileage on all the cars it tests. For that and more information on fuel-efficient cars and how to save money at the pump, you can go to our website at KATU.com. For 2 on Your Side, I'm Shelley Bailey-Shaw, KATU News.
Shelley, thank you. Well, Rod Hill joins us now, and of course, it is Thursday. You're talking about the weekend, and a lot of folks want to know if it's going to be better than last weekend. What do you think?
I have plans this weekend, so this forecast is a big one.
It's all about you.
Not that everybody else's plans don't matter, but I have a lot going on. All right, take a look at the weekend forecast. Here we go. I always say that Thursday's money day in terms of starting to get some confidence about what's happening. Okay, I'm going with 75 right now on Saturday, 72 on Sunday, generally partly cloudy skies, still holding on to the threat of rain, mainly Saturday evening, overnight, into the early morning hours of Sunday. But this is just barely a chance of rain. I mean, if you had to ask me, the more likely chance is it doesn't rain. Let me flip things around a little bit. Saturday could be warmer. The rain may not exist at all. Sunday could turn out to be kind of cloudy and disappointing in a day that struggles to hit 70. So that's the realm. If you have the worried about rain, boy, it's really looking like at this point it's not going to happen, but we'll keep watching it. 63 right now in Lincoln City, the Spanish Head Hotel Resort camera. We've had cloud, look at that kite flying, that's cool. We've had clouds just kind of coming and going, coming and going, coming and going along big stretches of the beaches today. Generally, it's been a decent day. You saw the west winds, breezy. It's 88 degrees with plenty of sun out in Hood River right now, and folks enjoying some recreational activities on the Columbia you can see down here. Their winds today have generally been about 16 miles per hour going by the weather station that we monitor. Here in Portland, finally we did it. It was sunny, yes, and we got up into the 80s, first time in a while. Right now 83, it'll be clear all night, 68 degrees at 10 this evening. Everybody has jumped up into the 80s. In fact, 85 right now out of McMinnville. There's your warm spot. And other temperatures around the northwest. The Currents 82 up in Kelso. The Dow's hitting 90. Most spots are still fairly comfortable. In fact, right now only 79 degrees out in Baker City. Okay, what's going on? Not much. Pretty clear all over the place, exception those clouds. You can see one of them right there along the coast. The bigger look out into the Pacific Ocean. Not much out here in the middle, big area of high pressure, which is typically what you get when you see the clouds doing this, kind of just arcing up around them. Right back here, these clouds underneath my clock, that's the front that we're watching for the weekend that should pass primarily to the north of us. More on that in a second. Tomorrow, great day. Partly cloudy along the beaches. Everybody else sunny, warm, 85 in Portland, 76 degrees up in Seattle. Here's the Saturday map, our rain cloud forecast. Notice the rain up in Seattle, not much. The front passing, even the thicker cloud base pretty much just north of Portland. So again, evidence is stacking up. It's saying we don't get any rain, and the weekend's pretty good, but cooler, you know, back into the 70s. 58 tomorrow morning, like it was this morning. We'll see some partly cloudy skies, areas of clouds, and then like today, expected to be pretty clear at noon, 72 degrees the high temperature, and then tomorrow's side up to 85. Here comes our 5-day forecast, and there was some great news on this forecast. There's the weekend we talked about. I'm holding on to the chance of rain, but, you know, maybe by tomorrow we'll be able to just totally kill that notion. All right, first of the week looks great. Sunny, back up in the 80s by Tuesday. And remember, last night I told you it looked like we could cool down going into Labor Day weekend. That's the following weekend, of course. Now, difference. Now it looks like we stay warm and in the 80s and gorgeous. And there's reason to believe, actually for the third day in a row, that we could be up around 90 degrees or into the 90s a couple of those days next week.
More importantly, will your plans remain intact for the weekend?
Yes, and if you have plans this weekend, I hope you have a great time.
I'll consider it, Rod. Thank you.
Sensitive species disappearing from Oregon. Coming up at 5:45, KATU's Grant McComey investigates vanishing frogs, why scientists think they are disappearing, and what's being done to stop them from going extinct.
I just think it's so sad because he went in honor of his brother in the first place.
A family receives devastating news from Iraq. Again, the tributes pouring in for the parents who've lost a second son in Iraq.
Maybe this is the year you get away on your own terms. No deadlines, no schedules, just you and your sense of adventure. Take the first step today at Curtis Trailers with this Outback 23 KRS side entry toy hauler featuring a convertible second bedroom. Lightweight and easy to tow for just $227 a month. Discover the world of towable RVs from Oregon's largest selection at Curtis Trailers, Portland and Beaverton.
There's nothing bigger than Car Chevy World in Beaverton, where bigger selection means better choices. Bigger volume means better deals, and bigger savings means better satisfaction. Right now, pay 0 interest for up to 72 months on nearly every new Chevy in stock. With 11 acres and over 8 city blocks of inventory, only Car Chevy is big enough to offer 0% financing for up to 72 months. So go big at Car Chevy World in Beaverton, where salaried salespeople see it your way.
Consider this, a 3-act mouthwash. Act 1 kills germs for fresh breath. Act 2 restores minerals to prevent tooth decay. Act 3 strengthens tooth enamel up to 2 times harder. Dentists recommend it most. Act Restoring Mouthwash. 3 acts, 1 bottle.
This season, replace the feeling of red, itchy, irritated skin fast with the healing feeling of Cortisone 10. It has 10 healing moisturizers plus the strongest itch relief medicine without a prescription. All day, all night, feel the heal of Cortisone 10.
Design is art that makes itself useful. Affordable design is art that makes itself valuable. You'll find both on sale now at Scan Design, the art of living.
I'm Mr. Opportunity, and that, my friends, is a Honda Odyssey. And if you're seeing me, then you know you can save some money. But did you also know that the Odyssey was named Best Overall Van by IntelliChoice? So, great van, big savings, you do the math.
Hey, Mr. O, want to go shoot some hoops?
Well, maybe after work. The 2007 Honda Clearance. Now you can lease a Honda Odyssey for $279 a month for well-qualified customers. I'm Mr. Opportunity, I'm back, and I'm knocking.
This segment of K2 News brought to you in part by GMC Trucks.
We are learning more about the men killed yesterday in one of the deadliest helicopter crashes of the Iraq War. 4 of the men were stationed at Fort Lewis near Tacoma. And as ABC's Carla Wall reports, one California family is receiving tragic news from Iraq for a second time.
In Clovis, California, the Hubbard family is in mourning again. 21-year-old Nathan Hubbard is one of 14 soldiers killed when a Black Hawk helicopter crashed in Iraq yesterday. He is the second son the Hubbards have lost to the war.
I just think it's so sad because he went in honor of his brother in the first place, and just to have to deal with another son, I think it's really sad.
This was Nathan 4 years ago at home watching for news of the war and his brother Jared, a Marine.
I know he'll come out of it all right.
But he didn't. Jared and his best friend were killed in Ramadi in 2004. 9 months later, Nathan and his older brother Jason enlisted. Now Jason is the only one coming home alive. Hubbard was in the 25th Infantry in Hawaii. 10 of the dead soldiers were based here and were due to come home in just 2 months.
It's hard to comprehend what the Hubbard family is going through. I don't think we can. I know the Buchanan community is strong, and we're going to stand by the family.
Fort Lewis in Washington is in mourning too. All 4 men on the flight crew, including Captain Corey Tyler, were based here. Tyler was on his 3rd tour. He leaves behind a wife and 3 children.
When he was home, he spent a lot of time with the family.
Back in Clovis at the Vets Memorial, someone has placed flowers, a picture of Nathan Hubbard, and a note that reads, "Thank you for your honorable service to our country." Carla Wall, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The Hubbard family's oldest son, Jason, is heading back to California under military regulations that are designed to spare parents from losing all of their children to the war.
A new government report on Iraq predicts an improved military situation offset by what it calls a more precarious political situation. America's intelligence agencies report that the Iraqi government will likely continue to weaken over the next 6 to 12 months. The National Intelligence Estimate points to a high level of overall violence, continuing sectarian divides, and attacks by al-Qaeda as persistent obstacles to progress. The report also expresses little confidence in Iraq's prime minister. Republican Senator John Warner, who just returned from a trip to Iraq, says it's time to signal a change in direction. He says he'll recommend to the president that he start to redeploy some troops beginning in December.
We simply cannot, as a nation, stand and put our troops at continuous risk of loss of life and limb without beginning to take some decisive action which will get everybody's attention.
Now, that report is not all negative, though. The agencies expect Iraq's security to, quote, improve modestly over the next year, and they say there have been measurable improvements since the troop surge began in January.
It's something almost all of us have to do, get our oil changed. Coming up, why many of us may be overpaying for the service. Also,
I immediately banged on the door and nobody came to the door and just called 911.
How a recycling man was able to save a Vancouver woman's life.
And controversial posts in Kaiser, they're there to stay. Coming up next, KATU asks why the city is telling some people to just deal with them.
And Jet Ranger 2 now on the scene of a possible drowning in Sauvie Island area. Reports of a swimmer who went down and did not resurface. We're following this one. Keep it right here on KATU.
Seattle has a center for day laborers. Portland's mayor wants one too.
Right now, these folks are on the street.
Cleaning up the streets or turning a blind eye to the law.
So how many of these workers are here illegally?
KATU's Dan Tilkin investigates tonight at 11.
It's Wick's biggest Labor Day preview sale for 3 days only, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Get 10% off everything you buy. Free delivery plus free interest till 2012. 3 days only, Saturday, Sunday, Monday at Wick's.
The first sport utility vehicle. The first full-time four-wheel drive. And now, Jeep introduces the industry's first lifetime powertrain warranty. It's the best warranty in the business, and no other car company matches it. So come and check out our largest lineup of Jeep vehicles ever with our exclusive lifetime warranty. Now, well-qualified buyers can get 0% financing for 72 months on Jeep Commander.
Tired of paying too much for your glasses? Binions has the answer. Half off all frames and lenses during the Binions half off sale. Most glasses are ready in about an hour. The Binions half off sale for a limited time. Binions, why pay more?
There are people among us who would rather cut hair than eat double fudge chocolate cake. People who frequently dream of hair and know the difference between shears, tapering shears, clippers, and a string trimmer. Who are these obsessed individuals? They're called perfect look hairstylists. They're not just talented, they've got more experience and skill than most other stylists. So when you want a perfect haircut, visit the few, the brave, the truly hair obsessed. Perfect Look. Be good to your hair.
Biggest Labor Day preview sale for 3 days only, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Get 10% off everything you buy. Free delivery plus free interest till 2012. 3 days only, Saturday, Sunday, Monday at Wix.
Tonight, sunscreens. Are they really giving you the protection you need from the harmful rays of the sun? As you lie on the beach this summer, is your sunscreen up to snuff? And is the government doing enough to make sure it is? Dangerous exposure, tonight on World News with Charles Gibson.
We're continuing to follow breaking news. This is in Sauvie Island of a reported drowning. The call came in just before 5 o'clock tonight. Witnesses say a swimmer apparently went into the water without a life jacket, and then they never saw the swimmer resurface. This was about 50 feet off of the Reeder Beach shore. Again, this swimmer was not wearing a life jacket. Initial reports also indicate alcohol could possibly be involved. This is the first day that we've seen in the 80s, so a lot of people taking advantage of the sunny, warm weather today. And again, you can see here Multnomah County dive team responding, as well as the Portland Fire. They're also responding, looking for a swimmer who never resurfaced. Again, this call came in just before 5 o'clock tonight. This is at Sauvie Island. We'll continue to keep you updated on this story as soon as we get more information.
I've received more input on this one issue than any of the others combined. From all over the world, strangely enough.
New information tonight about those hotly debated posts in Kaiser. The city decides they'll stay as is. Some people think they look like a phallic symbol.
KATU's Anita Kasey is live in Kaiser and asked why the city is telling people to just deal with it. Anita, what do they say?
Well, Deb and Steve, take a look for yourself. What do you think this looks like? A lot of people are offended by this shape, so the city was actually considering altering them by adding a metal collar right around this area and linking them together with chains to make it look more like a fence. But it decided it's just not worth it. It's probably the first time anyone spent this much time debating, second-glancing, and giggling about something as simple as these cement posts. What do they look like?
Something I haven't seen in a long time.
When I first saw them, it was my first thought, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I wasn't going to say that.
This is a post.
See, they don't offend me at all.
Do people need to get their minds out of the gutter, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you surprised by how much interest this has generated?
I've received more input on this one issue than any of the others combined. Concrete posts. It just blows my mind.
Kaiser City Manager Chris Epley says he's heard the complaints about these so-called unsightly barriers at the intersection of River Road and Lock Haven. You have to admit, they do a little bit look like maybe they could be a phallic symbol.
Don't know what you're talking about.
You don't think they look like anything other than posts?
I think that they are open to interpretation. Yeah, sure, you know, but a lot of things look phallic in nature, and I don't think that they look inappropriate.
And after weeks of consideration, he's decided not to spend the $8,000 it would take to make them seem less phallic.
The enhancement to safety would be fairly nominal.
And that's something people with differing points of view can respect. Okay, so the city's going to leave them as is. What do you think?
I don't care, so it's a non-issue.
Spend the money where it needs to be spent in some other areas. Let the people who drive by and roll their eyes, let them have their fun. Forget about it. It's silly.
Now, of the 200 or so emails and letters that the city received about these posts, it says only about 10 of them were complaints. Live in Kaiser, Anita Kasey, KATU News.
So they stay. All right, Anita, thank you. The posts were originally designed to protect pedestrians from cars, and altogether, they cost about $20,000.
Updating our other top stories now. It's not the usual reaction, but this time neighbors cheer after a Hillsborough home catches fire. Started around 11:30 last night on Northwest Connell Avenue. Neighbors are happy to see it go because police have been called out to that house 125 times in the past year. Firefighters, police, and neighbors say drugs were a staple at the home until it burned. The fire is being ruled an arson.
A group of gay rights supporters are planning to expose people who signed a petition in an effort to reverse Oregon's new anti-discrimination and domestic partnership laws. The group, called Know Thy Neighbors Oregon, would make a person's information available both in the Secretary of State's office and also on the internet. Meanwhile, the chief petitioner says they have not collected the 55,000 signatures they need by next month to get these two gay rights laws on the ballot in November of 2008.
Lake Oswego's run in the Little League World Series is over tonight. They lost to undefeated Lubbock, Texas this afternoon, 8-2. The Lakers took a 2-0 lead early, but they just couldn't hold on. They're the second team from our area to make it to the U.S. semifinals in as many years. The Murray Hill All-Stars from Beaverton made it one round farther last year and finished third overall.
An elderly woman saved by the recycling man. She was asleep inside of her Hazeldale home this morning when it started filling up with smoke. Lucky for her, it was garbage day. KATU's Angelica Thornton shows us why the timing was just right.
Robert Wilson's recycling truck routes are usually pretty routine, but this morning he found himself following his nose right to this home on Northwest Overlook Drive, where a fire was brewing around 7 o'clock.
Well, it was a smell coming around the corner, and it smelled kind of like a brush fire.
Seconds later, Wilson saw smoke pouring from the roof.
I immediately banged on the door, and nobody came to the door, and just called 911.
He ran to a neighbor's house and learned an 88-year-old woman lives inside. They called 911 again. Dispatchers were able to wake Ruth Ann Green up and warn her to get out. At the same time, firefighters were forcing their way through the front door. Green was scared, but able to walk out on her own.
She's a little shaken up, but she's doing amazingly well. The paramedics from AMR took a look at her, and her blood pressure is fine. She's doing great.
As the Red Cross comforted Green at a neighbor's house, Wilson called firefighters heroes, saying it took them less than 3 minutes to get there. But they say he's the one who gets the credit this time.
Fires spread so quickly that even 5 minutes can make a difference. So with this gentleman being here to call, it really did make a difference.
Wilson went back to work this morning, the start of a long shift, but he was already pretty happy about what he accomplished today.
No, it felt great. You know, she was shaken up, and I kind of felt bad for her house, but yeah, it felt pretty good to see her, you know, in good shape.
Investigators say the fire started in a light fixture in the bathroom. There was some sort of an electrical problem. It caused about $5,000 in damages. Had this happened next week, Wilson wouldn't have been here. He's going on vacation. The fire department plans to honor him somehow when he returns from his trip. In Hazeldale, Angelica Thornton, KATU News.
Also tonight, police raid a suspected meth lab in Oregon City. Police found products used to make meth at an apartment on Jackson Street. 5 residents had to be evacuated, and police are unsure when they'll be able to return home. The 44-year-old tenant was not arrested, has not been very cooperative, in fact, with investigators. The case is being handed off to the district attorney.
Portland police are still looking for more suspects after a break-in at Roosevelt High School yesterday morning. 20-year-old Nick Cha and 18-year-old Eddie Cha were arrested, but say possibly 2 others got away. Police got a call about suspicious activity, and when they arrived, officers say the 2 brothers took off. They were arrested a short time later. They both face theft and burglary charges. Neither is a student at the school.
A West Linn man is out of the hospital tonight after he and his family were run over by a van earlier this month. Police say 35-year-old Thomas Haymore's van hit the family of Brad Herbert after jumping the curb on Salamo Road in West Linn. Haymore, a Portland anesthesiologist, faces DUI charges. Herbert's son and wife had already been released from the hospital.
A former Eugene teacher arrested earlier this year in Camas has been convicted of sexual abuse. Actually, that's not right. We'll tell you about what is coming up, a new proposal to help you pick the right sunscreen. Coming up, the new rating system that may help you avoid getting burned. Also,
Grant McComey here along the Santiam River, and we're talking frog water, but it's more than that. It's also a story about salmon, and I've got the underwater video to prove it. I've got that report coming up.
Also coming up, the impact Hurricane Dean is having on gas prices.
and another live look over at Sauvie Island area where a reported drowning happened just before 5 o'clock tonight. A swimmer went into the water without a life vest and apparently never resurfaced. We'll continue to follow the story as it develops.
KATU News this morning, on your side with
with live coverage of the day's top stories.
A Hillsborough home destroyed after an overnight fire.
Police say they've been here several times for drug-related crimes.
The forecast first after every commercial break.
Rainfall could come down as far as Portland and Vancouver and even into the gorge.
And up to the minute traffic conditions.
Got a problem to let you know about. The interstate bridge right now is in the up position, and you can see plenty of slowing down.
Start your day with KATU News this morning. Weekdays from 5 to 7.
Bold, stylish, efficient. Of all Nissan's lines, this is the one you've been waiting for. The Bottom Line, the once-a-year sales event with great deals on every bold Nissan sedan. Like 1.9% APR financing on the next-generation Nissan Sentra and $1,000 total savings. Get to your Nissan dealer now. This event ends September 4th, and that's the bottom line.
The only thing better than Stickley Furniture is saving big on Stickley. It's the Save on Stickley sale going on now at Paul Schacht's Furniture. This month only, get unbeatable savings on all Stickley furnishings and take advantage of our complimentary design services. It's the biggest sale of the year and your chance to save even more on our already low prices. The Save on Stickley sale all month long at Paul Schacht's Furniture. It's the sale you don't want to miss. Paul Schacht's Furniture, your home.
At Olinger Travel Homes, we need to make room for our new showroom, so we're having a hard hat construction sale with huge price reductions on our entire inventory, now through the 25th. During this event, travel trailers like this Freedom Spirit are as low as $139 a month, OAC, or an Itasca motorhome for just $563 a month, OAC. During our hard hat construction sale, kids receive a free hard hat of their own, only at Olinger Travel Homes, now together with Camping World in Portland, and still here to serve all your RV needs in Hillsborough. Call for hours and directions.
Ford F-Series has been proving why it's #1 for 30 years. And now with up to $4 grand cash on the all-new 2008 Super Duty, the proof just got better. A new Power Stroke diesel engine has more power than Dodge Cummins. More power means more towing, over 3 tons more than its closest competitor. Now get $3 grand cash on all 08 Super Duty models, plus current Ford owners get an extra $1,000 for a total of $4 grand cash. The all-new Super Duty, the most capable truck in its class. Visit your Northwest Ford stores today.
Hurricane Dean has not had a significant impact on our local gas prices yet. The storm caused workers to evacuate oil rigs throughout the Gulf of Mexico. And because there's less oil, the national average of gas rose slightly this week. Here in the Northwest, prices are either dropping or they're staying the same. According to AAA, the average today in Oregon is $2.75, which is the same as Monday's average. And the average in Washington is $2.81, down a penny. Meantime, the national average is up 2 cents this week.
It is something you hear often. Get your oil changed every 3,000 miles or every 3 months. But following that could mean you're throwing away your money. Technicians say many people change their oil way too early because they don't check their owner's manuals. Vehicles need an oil change anywhere from 3,000 to 7,000 miles.
I think there's a lot of consumers out there who probably getting taken advantage of and paying more money for oil changes, and at the same time more oil is being wasted. And in this day and age, we don't really want to be doing that.
They say if you don't follow the recommendation in your owner's manual, you could be spending twice as much a year than you need to on your car maintenance.
United Airlines is making it a little easier to fly a short distance on frequent flyer miles. The company will let you fly round trip 700 miles or less each way for just 15,000 miles instead of the normal 25,000. The deal is only on flights until the middle of December.
They are vital to the local environment. And coming up next, what's causing some native frog species to vanish?
Talking about that rain chance for the weekend and an easy riddle. Today, the first time we've done it in 8 days. You know the answer. We'll talk about that coming up.
It's a place for day laborers to find work. Some of them certainly illegal. Seattle has one, and Portland's mayor wants one too.
Right now, these folks are on the street.
Cleaning up the streets or turning a blind eye to the law.
So how many of these workers are here illegally?
KATU's Dan Tilkin investigates these don't ask, don't tell operations and the cost to taxpayers.
It's unfair to American workers to have to compete with people who are here illegally.
Tonight at 11 on KATU News.
For a limited time, Sleep Country's best-selling mattresses are all on sale. Save on Sleep Country's top-selling Simmons, Sealy, Spring Air, and Pacific mattresses. Plus, get 12 months interest-free financing.
Why buy a mattress anywhere else?
Introducing the Cadillac Summer Event. Right now at your Cadillac dealer, you can experience the best Cadillac has to offer and 0% APR financing across all models. The best part about summer? It's here.
Visit Cadillac.com for local offers.
Unlock a world of sensory delight where flavors excite, shapes tempt, and aromas entice. Introducing the new line of Friskies dry cat food. Friskies, feed the senses.
Take advantage of Northwest Rugs pre-Labor Day sale for outstanding savings throughout our showroom. Choose from over 20,000 rugs to complement your home's decor. You'll find every color and style that you can imagine, including fine furniture and unique accessories. Bring your color swatches, bring your size, bring your dreams, and Northwest Rugs will do the rest. Hurry in for savings now during our pre-Labor Day sale. Creating that perfect space in your home is just one visit away from Northwest Rugs.
This segment of KATU News brought to you in part by Cars Chevy World.
Welcome back. There are more than a dozen native frog species in Oregon, and most need the same thing as people, cold, clear water, but pollution is jeopardizing that. Grant McComey joins a group of scientists tracking down one particular frog species to understand what its environmental warning really means.
You rarely see a vanishing species in its natural habitat this close.
Any kid could tell you, they're just cool. You gotta love frogs.
Not just any frog. This is the yellow-legged frog. And this is Chris Rombo, a scientist who'll put his hands anywhere to catch frogs in the Santiam River.
They're not like studying birds or fish where, you know, you hardly ever see the things. You can actually get them in your grubby little hand and look at them. Like, that's so freaking cool. And how much fun is it just to wander around and catch frogs? I mean, seriously.
Rombo has been seriously studying amphibians for over a decade. He says it's getting harder to find one of the Willamette Valley's most secretive frogs.
That's a big negative. I'm still not seeing anything.
It's even more rare to find it in tadpole form.
So you can see his tail, his little hind legs. He hasn't got front legs yet, just hind legs. This guy will be a frog in about 5 days.
That's if it lives that long. You see, yellow-legged frogs are designated one of Oregon's most sensitive species. That's just this side of endangered. We're losing them for many reasons, including pollution, siltation, warm water, and most of all,
the big threat to these frogs in the Willamette Valley is loss of habitat.
The yellow-legged frog needs cold, clear water and plenty of clean gravel to spawn in. This stretch of the Santiam is one of 2 where the frogs have been found, but Rombo has caught just 40 at this site.
See that bright yellow legs? As they grow, they get yellow on undersides of their legs, and it will spread till it covers most of the underneath of their body. Look how bumpy and rough he is.
Looks more like a toad than a frog.
Yeah, he looks more like a toad. Their toe tips, they've got these little squared off pads that are specially roughened, and they help them grab rocks, slippery rocks in a current.
Rombo's been hired to count the frogs because the government is worried that fewer yellow-legged frogs means something more serious.
They really are a canary in a coal mine in a lot of ways. I mean, Oregon's frogs are indicators of healthy habitats, and those habitats are good for a number of different species, not just frogs, including salmon.
These little dudes here, these are the gummy bears of the animal world. Everything eats them.
So the frog's disappearance, especially the yellow-legged kind, could say more about disappearing habitats, especially the cold water kind, and that should concern everyone.
Because the frogs have such a short lifespan, they're one of the first things that you'll see a change in habitat reflected in. So the frogs will suffer first, and then the salmonids.
And perhaps someday, even people. Along the Santiam River.
All right, let's get another one.
I'm Grant McComey, KATU News.
And that research project continues next spring and summer when experts hope to find more locations where the yellow-legged frogs live. You have a unique chance to learn more about native frogs at the State Fair starting on Friday. You can find information on the KATU Outdoor website.
Frogs are fun to learn about, actually.
They are, Deborah. You're exactly right.
So they have I missed it. They have a frog area, I guess, at the State Fair. Is that right?
That would be correct.
That would be correct.
Hop on down there and check it out.
Oh, brother. Rod Hill joins us now. You gave us a quiz going into the break about what we haven't seen in 8 days. I'm guessing 80-degree weather.
Yes, I told you everybody at home knows the answer to that one. It was 88 8 days ago. Today, so far, 83. First time we've done it, and clear skies. Mwah! Beautiful weather out there, huh? Here's a live look outside. Where are we going first? The coast, of course, 63 degrees, the Splash Head Hotel Resort in Lincoln City. Pretty good chop to the water. When we checked the winds last, they were coming in 16, 20 miles per hour from the west. Thank you very much. Live bird shot there. 87 out in the gorge. We've had some clouds on the coast, but most of the state has just cleared out perfectly. Again, 87 here, courtesy of the Hood River Inn. And 83 our current and so far the high for the date here at PDX. It'll be 77 at 7, and then 77 at 7, 68 degrees at 10. Sun going down tonight at 8:07. Lots of 7s. 83 in Scappoose, the same in Salem, McMinnville, the warm spot. You folks making it up to 86 degrees. And I think everybody will easily get up into the 80s tomorrow. Tomorrow's a day that should be a couple degrees hotter than today. 71 up in Astoria. The Dow's making it to 91, and down in Medford, 93. Ontario was hot as well at 88, or somewhat hot. Not really for them, as you know. 82 up in Kelso. The high was 78 degrees up in Seattle. Everybody's clear except for, we're looking at the coast. You can see the clouds just kind of breaking along the coastline. Just kind of some junk clouds that got caught in a northwesterly flow. I think not really a true fog bank. You folks have a good chance to get some sunshine tomorrow as well, like today, maybe some clouds mixing in. The visible satellite picture, way out in the Pacific we go. A lot of this is just nothing, but there are two fronts. The first one falling apart right here. It's falling apart when I put the gaps in between it, just so you know. And then the more solid front, what becomes our main weather system to watch this weekend, is farther back to the west. Saturday evening, jet stream. Notice I have breaks in it. That means it's just kind of segmented, a very weak jet stream, if you will. The front kind of segmented mainly up to our north. The chance of rain looking more and more to be mainly from Seattle northward. If we're going to see any rain this weekend, it would be anywhere from Saturday evening into early Sunday morning. But the chance of rain is almost gone, and maybe by tomorrow I will tell you no chance of rain at all. Computer model rain cloud forecast shows again that chance of rain Saturday 5 p.m. up around Seattle. Nothing for us. In fact, it's possible we could get some decent sun, and Saturday turns out to be really nice. Okay, so the weekend's looking better and better. 69 in Long Beach, 71 degrees in Astoria tomorrow. We'll look for some of those junk clouds at times, but generally speaking, a pretty good day along the beaches once again. And easily up into the 80s from Longview down to Eugene, Salem, Vancouver, probably 85 tomorrow. 70 up at Governor Camp. Of course, Hood to Coast begins at Timberline Lodge at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And temperatures at 6,000 feet in the morning have been in the mid-50s, so pretty nice. All right, in Central Oregon tomorrow, warming up a bit, but still mainly in the 90s. 81 in Bend, 89 in Madras, and then farther to the east, plenty of sunshine, and temperatures here mostly in the 80s as well. Burns 89. So this is really nice weather. Hermiston could crack 90. The Dalles could crack 90 tomorrow. West winds throughout the Columbia River Gorge, not too bad. Hood River, maybe some gusts up to about 20 or so. 88 degrees, 84 in Stevenson. So overnight tonight, stars are twinkling, 58 degrees. Could be some cloud areas briefly or partly cloudy spots briefly tomorrow morning like we had today, but otherwise plenty of sun expected. Maybe some increasing high clouds toward the evening hour. High tomorrow, 85, 86 degrees. Here's our 5-day forecast. Now I'm saying 75 Saturday, 72 on Sunday, holding on to a very slight chance of rain, mainly Portland northward, Saturday evening into Sunday morning. My real thought is Saturday could be even upper 80s and partly to mostly sunny. And then Sunday could be the flip-flop. Sunday could be a day that's just kind of cloudy and gray and we struggle to hit 70. But the big story here is the chance of rain really just about non-existent. And it looks like it could be hot now. This is a change from yesterday into Labor Day weekend next week.
And those folks heading out to the Wisen Jazz Festival in Vancouver will be very thrilled with that.
We'll be there tomorrow. Hopefully it's going to be great weather. Should be nice.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
As the floodwaters begin to recede in the Midwest, a lot of residents are just getting a look at what they've lost. Some of the hardest hit areas of Ohio have homes with almost 2 feet of water inside of them. More rain is expected in some areas, while others may get the excessive heat that's baking the South. Coming up, a look at some of the areas that are the hardest hit. Also, hear from residents who are pulling together to help those in need. That's at 6 on ABC World News.
Working in the wee hours of the morning can certainly be a drag. Well, coming up next, researchers answer the question, can it increase your risk for cancer?
RV Buyers, it's our largest Northwest RV show of the year. This Wednesday through Sunday only, inside the Clark County Event Center at the fairgrounds. Tons of new and used RVs will be on display, from travel trailers to motorhomes, with huge discounts at the free Northwest RV show this Wednesday through Sunday only.
You got the look I like.
For what you'd pay for this outfit at a department store, you could go to Ross and get the same outfit, plus one for the guitarist, the drummer, and the backup singer. That sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Ross, there's no comparison.
Kaiser Permanente. Thrive.
Some people think that when you buy a used car, you buy somebody else's problems. Well, at Beaverton Chrysler Pre-Owned Superstore, every car comes with a warranty, a free Carfax report, and a 7-day right of exchange, all from the #1 Chrysler dealer in customer satisfaction. So much for problems. And with low prices like these and over 500 used cars to choose from, the only problem you'll have is choosing from our huge selection. Oh, and one more thing. We now have the best warranty in the business with a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new Chrysler car.
Kids will be kids, so why pay $60 for this outfit at a department store when you could get the same outfit at Ross, plus this one, and this one, and this one? Because kids will be kids. Ross, there's no comparison.
Thursday, September 27th.
What kind of man would lie to the woman he's cheating on his wife with?
In a woman's world, men are the new women. It's good to have your boys. Big Shots premieres Thursday, September 27th on ABC. Start here.
We are continuing to follow that breaking news of a possible drowning at Waldron Beach at Sauvie Island. Witnesses reported that an adult male was swimming about 50 feet from the beach. He began to struggle and went underwater. The Coast Guard, along with crews from Multnomah County and Portland Fire, are searching that waterway as we speak. Of course, we'll have the very, very latest on this search and rescue effort tonight on KATU News at 6:30.
To your health tonight, a new study shows working the graveyard shift does not increase your risk for cancer. This study contradicts previous studies, which suggested working at night causes hormone changes and triggers some form of cancer. Researchers say other factors like location or the chemicals involved may cause small increases in a person's risk for cancer. It is back to school time for a lot of kids across the area, and that means the return of their #1 stress factor. School is the top source of stress for people who are between 13 and 17. A new study shows girls are more likely to be stressed than their male classmates. Doctors say the rate of anxiety is higher among adolescents than in previous years, but it wears off over time and moves from school-related issues to finances. The FDA has proposed new rules for making and testing sunscreen. It would include a new label warning us in boldface type sunscreen use should not be used as a reason to extend time in the sun, and that sun exposure increases the risk, of course, of skin cancer. A new UVA rating system would also use a scale of 1 to 4, with 4 stars representing the highest UVA protection available in an over-the-counter sunscreen.
All right, here we go. In tonight's Spirit of the Northwest. We are just hours away. Yeah, just hours from the start of the Oregon State Fair. Yes, indeed. Kicks off tomorrow in Salem, and among the many new activities, many new ones, there will be a BMX track, 4 volleyball courts, and ATV training. But organizers say even with the new events, you'll still be able to have the things you've always loved about the fair. Runs through September the 3rd. You can still get advance tickets at a cheaper price. They're $7 for adults, $3 for seniors, $2 for kids 6 through 12, and kids 5 and under, absolutely free. Tickets cost $2 more at the gate. Now, for a complete schedule and directions on how to get there, plus where to buy those advance tickets, log on to KATU.com and click on the hot links. And if you get down there, have some cotton candy on Rod Hill.
And you're going to learn more about frogs, you said earlier.
That's right, early. What's your favorite part of the fair?
Cotton candy.
Good to know.
See you at 6:30.
Good night.
Closed captioning for K2 News is made possible by the generous support of Pacific Power. K2, the spirit of the Northwest.
It's Armed Forces Week.
Get ready to report for duty. Wheels saluting the military's best. So hop on board. We're spinning through historic San Diego. Next wheel.
Tonight at 7:30 on K2.
It's the Chevy Model Year-End event, where you'll find the best offer ever on the all-new Silverado. 0% APR for 60 months on Silverado half-ton extended and crew cabs for well-qualified buyers. Just click and go to Chevy.com to find the Silverado you want. Then get to your Chevy dealer before it's gone. Get 0% financing for 60 months on an all-new 07 Silverado half-ton extended cab or crew cab for well-qualified buyers. Click on Chevy.com. Then see your participating Northwest Chevy dealer.
Imagine a world without nail guns, without particle board, without assembly line techniques. Beautiful. Parker Furniture. Raw materials for refined living. The summer event. Behold the beauty of savings. Going on now. Preview sale items at parker-furniture.com.
Summer blooming perennials and shrubs love the heat and bring brilliant color and fragrance to your garden.
I like coming to Farmington Gardens because there's always something in bloom. This is the place to come if you want to buy flowers.
Farmington Gardens is in full bloom with the exotic colors of summer's heat.
Probably at least once a weekend in the summertime I'm out here. It's a really great place to be, and it's really helped me figure out what I wanted to do in my garden.
Grow the garden of your dreams. Just a short drive out Farmington Road in Aloha. Farmington Gardens. We're growing for you.
In Peggy's business, professionalism means everything. Paul's reputation is keeping folks safe. And today, the Straughns are taking a little time for themselves. What do they have in common? They all know quality and have either leased or bought from Rasmussen BMW. Why? It's about trust and Rasmussen's reputation for exceeding their customers' expectations. Like special BMW lease and finance rates on this 2007 328i sedan. Test drive a BMW today at Rasmussen BMW, Southwest 20th and Jefferson.
The Jeopardy! Teen Tournament Finals are here, and to win, you've totally got to multitask.
I read books while I play Flight Simulator.
I've got to remember that.
Next, Jeopardy!
Tonight at 7 on K2. K2 News, voted best newscast by the Associated Press.